Welcome back. We're talking election 2018, of course, with our guests from the State House News Service, Katie Lannan and Matt Murphy. So, speaking of interesting internal poll results, a couple of recent polls about the U.S. Senate race, where Elizabeth Warren appears to have a comfortable lead over Jeff Deal, have also asked how people in Massachusetts feel about a Warren presidential run, and overwhelmingly, they don't like it. Katie, is this a hangover from the Dukakis, Kerry, Romney, Weld, Cellucci pattern of running, winning, and then either immediately running for something else or even leaving during the term to pursue something else?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things those numbers could mean. They could mean people want to keep Elizabeth Warren in the Senate representing Massachusetts. They could mean that they favor another Massachusetts candidate like Deval Patrick, whose name's been floated out there.
Yep.
And they could just mean people aren't ready to start thinking about that yet, but, you know, they don't mean that the rest of the country wouldn't be interested in Elizabeth Warren presidency or presidential bid.
Yeah. One of my coworkers, Matt, came up to me just before we did this taping and said, if Warren wins re-election by less than double digits, is it a defeat? This is the kind of question only, you know, pundits and political nerds obsess over, but what do you make of that?
Well, and we know, I mean, she's up in the polls by what looks like 20-plus points. I mean, I think a single-digit win would be a disappointing result for her. But I do think you hit on something with that hangover idea. When you held the debate here, I talked to a union worker outside of this studio that night, and he was a big Warren supporter. He was cheering her on when she arrived for the debate, and he told me that he actually would prefer to see her stay in the Senate. He doesn't think that she would necessarily play nationally, maybe a little too liberal. So I think some people like her where she is. They think that she fits Massachusetts, and she's doing well you know, in her role as a foil to the national Republicans, but they're not sure that star might not fade if she brings it out onto the national stage.
One of Jon Kerry's closing arguments in his 1996 victory over Bill Weld was, hey, vote for me and you get a twofer. You get me back in the Senate and you keep Weld as governor, and he was a very popular governor at the time, so that might work. Any surprises coming Tuesday night? Any hope of any surprises? Any glimmer?
There always could be. We saw some surprises in the primary, whether
yeah, we sure did.
That be in the 7th District with Ayanna Pressley coming through. In Beacon Hill, some of the state house races, challengers defeated Democrats, powerful Democrats. So that might be kind of where we see the big surprises come out of this one, is in the state level rather than nationally.
What about the legislative races? Do Republicans stand to make any gains this time around, as best you can tell?
As best we can tell, I mean, I think they could potentially be in danger of losing some seats. I mean, we're watching some races where incumbent Republicans, that is, could be safe, but are facing stiff challenges from Democrats. And I think, as the question is nationally, how big is this wave going to be? I mean, if this were a cycle to throw out the polls and see where things land, I mean, the enthusiasm seems to be on the Democratic side, and whether or not that will carry some of these local challengers to Republican incumbents, or someone like Jay Gonzalez to make this closer than the polls suggest.
Well, a lot could change based on what happens Tuesday night, both locally and nationally. I'd like to have you both back here shortly after the election to maybe look forward and assess some of that. Thank you both for being here.
Thanks, John. Hopefully we'll have a lot to talk about.
I think we will. We always do. Katie Lannan, Matt Murphy of the State House News Service. That's it for me. Now it's back over to my colleagues for more WBZ News.